one of the most special moments that happened for me because of that song was somebody telling me that that song saved their life. Like literally. I mean, I get a lot of people that say that my music saved their life or brought them out of a depression or stuff like that. But this one person in particular told me the story of how it saved his life.
You're listening to the Hot Seed Podcast.
The Hot Seed.
Welcome to the Hot Seed Podcast, All Black Everything, Volume 3, presented by All Black Everything 24/7, 365. I'm your boy, Sean Xavier, and along with my co-host, Dave.
Yes, sir.
And our special guest, the man, the myth, the legend.
Oh,
Episode 6, Don Michael Jr. Let me add some of the adjectives to that. Rapper, producer, songwriter, Don Michael Jr.
Hey,
Of course, you guys, absolutely. Make sure you guys follow us at the Hot Seed Podcast on Instagram and Facebook and Threads, because that's a new thing now, apparently. And then, of course, subscribe on YouTube at the Hot Seed Podcast. And then sometime during the show, of course, shout out to our sponsor. Make sure you shop that All Black Everything 247.com. Gentlemen. How we doing?
Great. I'm great. Feeling
Blessed
good.
over here, man.
Good stuff. We're coming off of we're coming off like the 4th of July high. A lot of people in like vacation mode. We'll speak to that a little bit more in a few moments, Dave and I. But we keeping this All Black Everything series going. Again, if you guys haven't watched episodes 1 through 5, make sure you do so. This has been our biggest, best All Black Everything to date. And it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. So, I mean, outside of, winning the world over with your outstanding music and Instagram presence and skits, Mr. Don Michael Jr., man, what's going on with you? How was your weekend, man?
Weekend is light, man. It's chill. I get to live a real comfortable life right now that I built even before any of this happened. I always live by what I call EDIS life, which is EDIS, which is every day is Saturday. So for me, it just feels like every day is the weekend. It's
okay.
A good and bad thing, because sometimes it's Tuesday morning and I'm like, what day is it? It feels like Saturday, and it's my daughter's late for school because it's Tuesday and I didn't take her yet. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. I'm like, I thought it was the weekend. I didn't know. And like, it's not Saturday, and they're like, it's Wednesday, bro. Like, what is wrong with you? You know what I mean? And I'm like, I don't know. So my whole schedule just blends. I only know like when I have something to do because it pops up on my phone and it'll pop up in my calendar. Hey, you got a studio session at 3:00, and I'm like, all right, let me just go to the studio, and I'm just here. But I don't even then I still don't know what day it is sometimes. You know what I mean? So I kind of live a very weekendish life, like no matter what. It's kind of always the weekend for me. So holidays happen, and it's kind of like, oh, whatever. I guess y'all get to live the life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like I said, it's not all good. I'm just always working is what it kind of boils down to. It's like 4th of July, and it's just like, whatever. I'm going to the studio. I got to work. I got 2 beats. I got to mix a song. See you tonight. You know what I mean? And I just leave the house.
You're always in grind mode.
Always, man. Nonstop.
That's it.
Nonstop.
That's it.
Absolutely.
No
David,
complaint.
How's your weekend, bro?
Well, it was a special weekend. Had one of the aunties down from New York. It was her 70th birthday. So took her out on the town.
Okay.
Took her out to the wharf in DC. Chill time. Anybody check out Del Mar restaurant over there? It's special until you get that bill that that easily ran over 1,000. We'll keep it right there.
Yep.
When they tell you one of those restaurants where they say, yeah, order for the table, order for yourself. Order for yourself, because it got out of hand. Let's just put it that way. But it was a great time. Then we went to a new spa over in Springfield, Virginia, called Bali and Springs. That place, epic, man. I know everybody want to be on their manly mode. Nah, man, I don't do that spa stuff. Listen.
Yeah,
I came at it. Yeah, I came out of that place. You come out thinking about life and everything, bro. Like everything is just taken away. So that was the weekend. I got hit with looking at that bill, and then went over to Bali and Springs. But it was a real good time. That's definitely dope. Blessed for Auntie to see 70 years. So
absolutely.
Good stuff, man. It was a simple weekend for me, man. You talking about grind mode. I'm always in grind mode now. In these days, they're always looking for something, especially podcast, media, and radio related. And that's what I'm doing more times than not. Late nights, early morning type thing, burning the midnight oil. I might have threw some Street Fighter in there, just to take the edge off a bit. But it was something that the coming off the weekend. I got my son's here, and we're preparing to take him down to Disney. This is his post graduation from high school gift. So we decided to do the most expensive shit we possibly could, was take him to Disney World.
Disney is more than Paris, bro.
Yes, man. Jesus. But the family. Dave's going down, my brother's going down, the missus going down, my youngest daughter's going down. It's gonna be a good time. We got a pretty sweet setup down there. So I'm just preparing for that, man, and really preparing for the next. We're in that space in the podcast space, especially for us, because we do sports stuff as well. We're in the dog days of summer. So while a lot of people are taking vacation and stuff like that, we're out here doing this. We're taking all those people who ain't listening to podcasts. Hey, come over here. We got something for you. Right. I haven't listened to a Bomani Jones podcast in a few weeks now, and I'm like, that's good. Just stay over there. We'll grab some more listeners and stuff like that. But it's a fun time, because, and we'll speak to this when we get into more of the questions with Mr. Don Michael Jr. here, is watching the growth of the radio and the pod space. And while everything is not about numbers, it's about numbers, because where you're going at the end of the day. If you're actually making strides, to say the least. You put it that way. So it was a good weekend in that regard. And then I cut my grass today. I love it. I grew up, I grew up downtown Newport News in the PGs and Stewart Garden Apartments. We didn't know it was the projects, case may be. But there was a fence that separated our projects from these literally $1 million homes, which is crazy to this day. I never understood it. And I was fortunate enough when I was 13 to work for this program called Rent a Team. And my first, I guess I got contracted out, and I ended up working for, at the time, it was Congressman or maybe Senator Bobby Scott's, a Virginia mom. And I was cutting her grass. So, I go over to this neighborhood, Christopher Shores, right on the water. And I'm cutting this huge yard, push lawnmower and everything. But I used to tell myself then, I say, man, I can't wait till I get old enough to where I didn't care about the work. I just want to have a yard like this so I can cut it. And now, I'm out there today, and Dave knows how I feel about my grass. And I'm out there with this pride. I'm like, man, I'm 30 years later, and that's what I'm doing. You know, it's not as big as a yard as she got, but it's still pretty substantial, and it's green.
Right.
Greener than everybody within a 2-mile radius in a circle of passing. Because I drive around and look at these neighborhoods every once in a while. I'm like, mine is better than yours, and it's just you feel good about what you do. It's you know,
I'm jealous. Yeah. I'm jealous, man.
Yeah,
my yard is not green right now. I just bought a house 2021.
Congrats.
And, you know, thank you. And you know, the first thing was the interior. I wanted to switch up the living room. We got the living room redone, and then, you know, my daughter's room redone. We painted the basement. The basement was finished already. That's all good. And my girl started, you know, my girl just always wanted a garden. We got a nice backyard. We got a nice front yard, and it's a corner property. So we got side yard and everything too. So she goes out. My girl does a lot of, DIY stuff, like do it yourself, DIY
yep.
stuff. Yeah. Hey, what's going on, Earl? My girl does a whole lot of do-it-yourself stuff. So she built like flower beds and everything like that. So our front yard is looking like something at the house, but the grass, the grass is how the old owners left it. You know what I mean? So it's like, man, how do I get my grass? Because mind you, everybody else's grass on the block is green, sprinkler systems. It's, you know, it's looking good. And then we got my grass, the patchy. You know, ants love my grass. Like, it's a bunch of ants.
You got the neighbor out there looking at you.
Like, what do I do? And then, you know, I'm asking people in the neighborhood, like, what do you, they're like, oh, you got to drop the feeder or whatever. And I'm like, all right. So we did that. And they're like, I'm like, when am I seeing like some results? Like, I put it down like a couple weeks ago. They're just like,
he's a newbie.
Like, you need to do this for a couple years. Just like, all right, cool. All right, now I see where we at. So I'm in the process of trying to get that green grass, but right now we got you know, patchy whatever spots, brown spots, but whatever. It is what it is. I still got a house. I'm happy.
I love it, man, because what makes this so, and what makes All Black Everything so dope, because we get people, we get professionals in the entertainment space, real estate, you know, everything, and you know, they great, like yourself, great, but we get to those conversations where, and we let folks know, hey, they just like us. Like, we can get to the numbers, and just so you guys know, if you listen to this right now, you watching this on YouTube. You know, we're talking to Mr. Don Michael Jr., singer, producer. I said singer. Oh, the songwriter in this case. And we're talking about goddamn grass. And, you know, Apple Music alone, we talking about 3 million plus streams for one song, if I'm correct. Is it one song?
No,
that's total catalog.
For Apple, that's catalog. Well, that's the last 2 albums.
All right. Okay. So I ain't gonna poo-poo that, because there's a lot of people out there that's trying to get to 3,000.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but we talking about, you know, for most people that's a win, and we talking about him working on his brown grass. So that's
bro.
That's why these conversations are gonna be dope as shit. Yeah. That's why. Earl, how was your weekend, man? I know we ain't talked. I text you, I called you, and you know, because I was gonna hassle you because I know it was your birthday. And
happy belated, bro.
Happy belated, man.
Happy belated, bro.
Appreciate it. Nah, yeah. I mean, everything was cool. Had a little cookout, you know what I'm saying? Up top, and mad people came through. Drinks, food, smokes, you know, everything. All of the above, yeah.
There you go.
That's why I couldn't get in touch with you, because some part of that, between the drink and the smoke, you was like, you know what? I can't find my phone right now. That's pretty much what
I was still hearing. I knew where everything was at.
Oh, you just ignored me then?
Yeah, I did. I seen it.
It's because I'm light skinned.
I treated you like a bill collector.
Just let it be known, I didn't do none of that. I knew to just leave him be.
Yeah, I treated you like a bill collector.
I even tried to call him early. because I knew what time it was. And
nah, you know what? When you had hit me up, I was outside like trying to get shit together.
You working on your grass?
Nah, I was just trying to like set up.
I got jokes. I got jokes.
I ain't get the shit. I ain't got no grass, man. Shit is a patch.
Of course. You're sent about All Black Everything 24/7, 365, man. We got the illustrious songwriter, rapper, producer Don Michael Jr. on here with us, man. This is it's gonna be an interesting conversation because this is one that I ain't gonna lie. I don't care how they take it. I was in his DM since like November. I ain't gonna lie. But I also know that not everybody checks that. The Instagram shit is weird. Like it goes to like different things and stuff like that. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna comment. And I'm gonna show you how a real one is. I comment on there, and then like within like a couple of moments, I had notifications and he hit me back, and I was like, "Oh shit, okay." And it's right there. So sometimes you don't see this stuff. Which I know.
It's so weird, bro. Because remember, this is brand new for me. Like nothing was like this in 2022,
right?
And then all of a sudden, stuff started taking off. I never knew like how the platforms change once your following starts changing. Or once your engagement starts changing. Like I took off, like my biggest following is on Facebook. I took off on Facebook. So, on Facebook, I got 700,000 followers. I'm getting messages constantly. I'm getting notifications constantly. And then one day it just stops. And I'm like, what happened? And I go to the notifications tab and everything is like grouped together. So it's like, this person and 713 other people liked this post, and this person and 212 other people commented, and I'm like, what is happening? Like, how do I know that? You know what I mean? And it's like, so I'm like, okay, this person and 212 other people commented. Let me go. I got 212 comments. No, it's 535 comments in there, and I'm just like, where's the rest of the notification that I even had all this going on? Like, what is happening? And so it's cool. That part is dope, but it's scary because when something's going on, like because I don't get notifications anymore because they stop notifying you. So now I don't get notifications. I'll post something and leave and come back and there's thousands and thousands of comments. And I'm like, oh my God, what happened? Like what happened? What did I say? Because sometimes I'll just post something and it's just love. Oh, yes, what's up? Likes, comments, hearts, stuff like that. Cool. But then when I come back and there's thousands of comments or hundreds of comments, I'm like, oh, I said something wrong. I did something wrong. And I'll go in there. I don't believe that you said blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, man. And I don't even know for hours. I can't even do damage control. It's just like, oh, my bad, bro. I didn't even know that everybody was upset that I mentioned monkeypox. And now y'all think I work for the government. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. Like I mentioned monkeypox. And then one day, I said I'm going to the strip club. This is what happened. I posted. I said I'm going to
monkeypox. Oh shit. Okay.
I said I'm going to the strip club, and then somebody said somebody DM me like, "Yo, you sure you want to go to the strip club? You know that monkeypox shit is outside." And I was like, "Oh, I forgot about that. I forgot I heard about that. Never mind." So I posted another thing. Never mind. I'm not going to the strip club. That monkeypox outside. I gotta wait for them to figure out what's going on with that because ain't nobody know nothing about it yet. So I was like, I gotta wait for them to figure out what's going on with that. I don't want to get caught up in another COVID thing. So I'm like, I'm not going outside. I leave. I just post that and leave. I come back hours later, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comments. When did you sell your soul? The government got you fear mongering people. How did you? And I'm like, what happened? I was literally just going to go to the strip club. And my man said, yo, you know that monkeypox shit going around. I don't know if you want to be in the strip club right now. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right. Let me just not risk it. I don't even know nothing about it. Let me just stay my ass at home. And then the government got you trying to put fear into the people. Don't let them, no matter how much they're paying you. Like, I'm getting paid from the government to talk about monkeypox? Or is it just that I don't get notifications no more? So to go back to what you're saying with the, DMing me in November, they don't show me anything. And they got separate DMs everywhere. And it's like DM request folder and then a DM spam folder. And I'm just like, I can't keep up with all this shit, man. Like,
so, you need a social media coordinator now. That's why people got that shit. That's why
people get that shit. But then here's the problem. I had a publicist that was running my social media. And I don't know why, for whatever reason, he started unfollowing some people. So then I'm getting DMs like, yo, you unfollowed me? Yo, you did. And I'm like, that wasn't me. It's my pub. Okay. And I'm like, no, for real. It was my pub. Okay, Don. And I'm like, all right, never mind. I need to run my social media. I can't do this. I can't do this. I gotta just deal with whatever comes. I just gotta handle it myself, man. I'm lost out here. I'm lost out here. I need somebody to handle it, but right now I'm just lost out
Listen. I wanna jump real quickly into this sound real quick because first let me introduce things the right way. So Sean already shared that he's originally from Newport News, Virginia. I'm born in New York, raised out in Rahway, New Jersey, so you know that area. And then also Earl's up top also. Right now in Roselle, but we would say what Newark, Irvington, that whole area there. So I pointed out because I didn't know about your sound. Let's just be honest on the podcast. I didn't know. Sean let me know, weeks back that you were going to be on the show. So I said, okay, let me do my due diligence. I'm jumping around looking at different things. And I said, okay, let me go into my Spotify list. Let me pull this playlist. Right off the bat, I listened to a couple of songs. I immediately called Sean. I said, yo, he giving me a Joyner Lucas type vibe. I said it immediately. And he was like, for real? That's what you're getting from? I was like, yeah, man. This is, yeah, let me just keep on listening. So I'm out there walking my dog, listening to the music, mowing my lawn, listening to the music. My wife talking to me, listening to the music. So I'm going through the album and I'm seeing a progression. I'm seeing a progression on these albums and everything. And I'm listening in. I was like, yo, this is a different type of sound because it switches up. I see a switch up from different tracks here and there. And I'm hearing in my mind where I'm thinking some of the influence is coming from. But having that sound and being out in Camden, especially off that New Energy track, being from Camden, being from there. First off, explain that area because it's different. People don't know unless you're from up there. It's different. And then how does that type of environment feed in to your sound? Because I know that had to play a little bit something into it.
Well, yeah. For me, man, I've been doing music for so long that I kind of just I always think of myself as a combination of influences. And I think enough of the influences combined put you into your own category. You know what I mean? So it's weird because I don't listen to Joyner at all. I kind of only heard I hear like the things that go viral, like the one where he was talking about, the MAGA hat guy and stuff like that. The very first one where he did the story about the gang dude that got shot, and then he reversed the story to the kid that got shot or whatever, and so he told the same story from different perspectives. So that was dope. And I've seen a few videos, but I'm not like a big Joyner fan at all. I just know he's dope or whatever, but he doesn't make the type of music that I listen to normally. But I can respect the skill. I see the skill. I'm like, no, he's completely fire. So whenever somebody compares me to Joyner, I'm just like, okay, cool, because I know that he's completely fire. As long as I'm getting compared to people that are fire, I'm fine with that. You know what I mean?
It's where the mental side. It's the mental side of his rap that I'm getting it from. So that's why I said that it's very complex on what you break down.
I think that maybe me and him both have some of the same influences. So people automatically assume that I listen to Joyner and then I wanted to rap like Joyner because I'm new on the scene. So people are just like, oh, you must have listened to Joyner and figured out how to do this. And I'm just like, maybe me and Joyner listen to the same thing, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like I don't know because I'm not like I don't listen to him that much. But I think being influenced by Kanye, being influenced by Jay-Z, by I listen to Southern music, so being influenced by I get influenced by everything because I think everything's so impressive to me. You know what I mean? I listen to Future, I listen to Ray Shrimmer, I listen to Thug, I listen to whoever. Like I listen to whatever I think is dope. Lil Baby, XXXTentacion, but then Nipsey Hussle, and I listen to what I mean. I listen to a lot of stuff. I listen to Britney Spears. I rode here listening to Billie Eilish. You know what I mean? It's like because people got to remember I'm also a producer and a songwriter. So all of this music is amazing, and I can find my respect in all of it. But I've rapped like this, the way that I've been rapping since I started rapping. Like that's kind of just always been my style. But again, I'm older. I'm 42. You know what I mean?
Right.
So rapping that long and trying to maintain your style, of course you got to switch it up. Of course the production switches up. The big difference is a lot of people stop rapping, so they get stuck in a place. And I've never stopped. I never stopped creating music because it's my job. It's my life. It's really what I do. So as far as Camden goes, Camden influenced my music, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily the music that I make today. I think it's like what I talk about and how I talk about it.
The experience.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's the experiences that I've had coming from the city. For the people that don't know about the city, it's getting a lot better. I'll say that. It's getting a lot better. We are not top 10 on the murder list anymore or the most dangerous cities anymore. So that's a positive. And
that is.
I'll say that to describe the city. That's the positive, is that we're not top 10 on murders anymore. You know what I mean? Like that's the positive. To speak to the city, there's a lot of people that are upset about that. That's the type of city. There's people that's just like, damn, we ain't putting in the work.
We
and
it's like,
bro, stop killing people. You know? Like,
right.
Yo, chill, bro. You know what I mean? It's okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's this gentrification, man. It's like, well, you know what? If I gotta pick one or the other, people dying or niggas gentrifying the hood, it's a tough choice, bro. But I'm gonna just go with people being alive. I'm gonna just rock with that. You know what I mean? So that's the type of city that I come from, man. But like I said, it's getting a lot better, and it's a fully talented city, and it's a lot of good in the city. Of course, there's a lot of knuckleheads when you come from. Camden is a very historically poor city that wasn't able to recover from the riots. So it's one of the poorest cities in the country, per population.
Per capita.
So, but obviously, if you got a poor city, you know, or a city that's that low in income, there's going to be a lot of crime. It's not poor as far as money. Niggas got money. It's just that the government don't know about it because it's not a very legal city. You know what I mean? It's a lot going on in the city for people to get by. But, you know, coming from that and being surrounded by that, you know, being surrounded by friends that might have been in that, or me dipping my toe in some other shit and being like, you know what, that ain't for me. Put me into the music where it was like, I gotta do this. Like, let me focus on this. To where when I was starting to really get popping in the street a little bit, I had cousins and people that was just like, yo, come to my crib, bro. And I was like, all right, cool. And I'll come to his crib and he's like, yo, I bought all this studio stuff, yo, so you could be down here, you could be working on your music. You know, I had that happening in my life. So where I was trying to like, yo, I need some money. I need to get some money. And he's like, nah, go, I'll bring you some bread, bro. Go in the studio, bro. Go downstairs and just make some beats. I had that. So that was my family's way, my friend's way of like keeping, like, we got this. You go do that. You know what I mean? And it's like, all right, cool. So that's kind of the thing that shaped me, really staying in the gym, being forced in the gym actually at some point. Just like, nah, I'm trying to come outside too. And it's like, nah, go back in the gym. Go shoot your shots. Go make them beats. Go write them verses. Go learn how to record. You know, all that kind of cultivated my sound. So the city shaped me like that. And then from there, I kind of just grew into what people are hearing today, which is me just competing with myself at that point.
Yeah, and that was gonna bring me into the next question, because like we all around the same age, and I guess it's a 2-part question. Like, one, what's your thoughts on today's music, like today's artists? I know me personally, I find myself I don't listen to the radio. I really can't get with this because like I come from the era, or we all come from the era of like when people spit. Like I want to hear bars. Like I don't, you know, no disrespect to today's music, but it's just everything sounds the same. Because it sounds so like distorted, I don't even listen to the lyrics. Like I can't listen to the lyrics because there's so much fluff you got to get through. So like, you know, what's your thoughts on like today's music? And then like I like what you said, like, you know, I'm competing with myself. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, do you find yourself trying to like stay with the fray, or do you stay in your own lane?
I think it's kind of a combination of both. I think like I listen to what is going on, and I try to figure out my way of doing it, so that it's like, okay, I don't sound like them, but I don't sound too far left where they can't enjoy my music. You know what I mean? So I might be able to approach some melodies or whatever. Like I'm a songwriter. I used to write pop music. You know what I mean? So melodies are actually like an easier thing for me. I try to make sure that I rap because I know that there's less of that going on. So it's like, let me make sure I'm putting some wordplay out there. I'm spitting without a melody on my voice. Let me make, you know what I mean? I try to, I'm conscious of that. I do enjoy shit of today. Like I said, I'm listening to Future. I'm listening to Thug. I'm listening to Baby. I'm listening to, well, Lil Baby, not the Baby. I'm listening to whatever I think is dope. You know what I mean? I don't like go against or avoid anything. I think things are what they are. I do feel like substance has left for the stuff that you would hear on the radio. Right. You know what I mean? I think that there's plenty of substance that's still available. You just kind of got to go find it or know where you're going to go get it from. Case in point, a Joyner Lucas. If I do feel like hearing somebody talk about something, there go a rapper right there of today that's making completely coherent music that's talking about something, but he's still not Drake because it's not what the people want. The people enjoy something else that's easier to listen to. You know what I mean? Like Joyner is going to get on something. He's going to talk about something. He's going to have concise points and subjects. And there's other rap, you know, you got Freddie Gibbs, you got, you know, all the Buffalo Cats, Griselda, you got people that's like really spitting. Whatever you're looking for is right there. You know what I mean? I don't think it's just the music of the radio. I think some music doesn't have anywhere else to go anymore.
Nah, that's true.
So it ends up on the radio.
That's
you know what I mean? Like we made this it's a fun song, it's real repetitive, it got a dope catchy melody. Where does this go? It doesn't go in the Griselda folder. It don't go in the Joyner Lucas folder. It don't go in the Freddie Gibbs folder. It can't go in those folders. Oh, this is my kind of more commercial pop rap. What folder does this go? Oh, that goes on the radio. So yeah, I'm not turning into the radio, but I wasn't listening to the radio in 2010. Before that,
yeah, true.
You know what I mean? I stopped listening to radio ever since they said, "Oh, you can hook your iPod up." It's like back when when there was a little iPod with a click wheel.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Like, turn that radio the hell off and plug this in. And I've been listening.
Put in what you want.
Since then, you know what I mean? So I haven't been in tune with what's even going on the radio. So I'm so used to finding music anyway. I kind of don't even know what's going on. When I do turn on the radio or when I get my girl's car and the radio's on or something like that, I'm just like, this is trash. Oh, this is trash. But it might be, but this is the thing. It might be somebody that I listen to. It might be a Lil Baby song. Like that Lil Baby song that dropped, that Hey song that came out. He had a single called Hey. And it was just him saying, hey, and he was rapping. I was just like, this is trash. But I love that album. So that was just a song that I instantly skipped as soon as I heard. It's like, oh, yeah, remove that from my playlist. And I forgot it existed. But when I go turn on the radio, it's right there. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's what the radio is for. It's the stuff that I don't care for. But I didn't care for it when Jay-Z was dropping diamonds.
Right,
I mean, like, or Jigga, that nigga. It's like, I've always been skipping shit. You know what I mean? Like I was skipping when Biggie was dropping certain joints. I was skipping when Puff had certain joints. I was skipping when certain Mobb Deep songs came on. It's like, come on, bro. I don't know. I don't
like
need to hear it. I'll get the album.
The commercial stuff. But then I think too, like that's another thing that's different because I mean maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like a lot of artists today, they're not making albums. Like they're making like one hit. I ain't want to say one hit wonders, but they trying to make a hit. Like they trying to get something that's going to chart, which I understand. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I get it. I get the business side and notoriety and all of that, but it's like what happened to them albums? You know what I'm saying? I
feel like people have always been trying to make hits. You know what I mean? My dad was in the industry. So my dad was a record promoter, which is, you know, the people before this time and era. Back then, people needed a promoter to get the music to the radio. You know what I mean? And that was the only way to get the music to the radio. The promoter knew the radio people. You couldn't just walk into a station. There was no email. You couldn't just send it to. There was no flash drive. You had to have somebody walk it and play it personally for somebody on the radio, get to the program director or a DJ directly. So that's what my dad did. My dad used to, and he wasn't like small time, but he was national. He worked for MCA, for RCA. So he did Janet Jackson, Rhythm Nation. He did, that's when he was with A&M Records. Then he became national promotions manager. President for MCA Records. And that was in the era of, to give y'all like a brief history of it, that was MCA for Uptown Records. So Mary J. Blige,
Puffy,
Belle Biv DeVoe, Poison, and all those, and other things that people forget, like Another Bad Creation and stuff like that, that fell under that. That's my dad. Then everything from MCA, from Bobby Brown to Heavy D to all that stuff, all that early 90s.
That man said Another Bad Creation. I'm sorry, I had to go back in my mind.
I had to put that back in my playlist.
Aisha, son.
Another Bad Creation was under Mike Bivins, right?
Yeah, that's Mike Bivins. So all that Mike Bivins stuff, that was my dad. So anytime you heard any of that stuff on the radio, that was them like, hey, take this to the radio, pick the single out. They would give my dad like 4 or 5 records. He would go through the records and then give them to me and my sister and be like, which ones do y'all like the best? And we would pick whatever record was. I like this one. And my sister, I like this one.
You were his focus group.
I would stop you right there. So I'm glad you said that.
How old were you and your sister at the time?
11, 12, 13.
So, okay, you're a little older. So when Dave and I, and the story telling, when we did our first collab, this is 2008, something like that. And we recorded a lot, but our thing was I had my daughter at the time, and she was 3 years old. And we were like, yo, we know we got something. If she started dancing, she was bopping to it. And sure as hell, our first radio joint was one that, if you listen to it from us, we were like, okay, but we didn't think, okay, we're gonna send it. And sure as hell, it ended up being our first radio placement, single. And it was like the kids if they kids liked it, it worked. It was one of those things. So it's interesting that you said it. It was dope that you said that.
Yeah, that's what it is. My dad was throwing records up against us and seeing what stuff, and we used to turn it into a game. He would be like, all right, y'all listen to the radio. I'm about to drive over to Philly now. Y'all listen to the radio and see which one they play or whatever. And we be listening to the radio. They play, and here go the new one, Pleasure Principle by Janet Jackson. And I just be like, oh, that's mine. I win. I win. You know what I mean? It's like, didn't know that I just picked Janet Jackson's new single, but apparently, you know what I mean? That's what I was doing or whatever. So I fast forward and that whole, I'm sorry, I forget the initial question, but I fast forward and now the radio shit it's the radio shit. You know what I mean? I skip the radio shit. I know.
And one thing, Earl, I not to answer on behalf of like any type of artist or anything, but here's a difference that's pretty much blatant out there. Back in the day when we used to rush up into Best Buy and Circuit Cities and Sam Goody stores and stuff like that, you remember when you got that album that just had 2 hits on it, and you were like, God damn, because you actually had to buy the album.
Right.
Nowadays, I could jump on Spotify and I can make a Don Michael Jr. classic of my own because I can create the playlist.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So you put together your own thing and spin. Back then, unless you were just living off of singles, you bought that album and you like, man, I just threw out $11.99, $9.99.
Until FYE came out where you could go in.
You listen to that joint. Oh, love that. Loved it.
Yeah, we loved it as consumers. Some of them artists that did have.
I remember artists being mad back then. Why y'all letting people hear my album? They ain't buy my album. They can't hear it if they ain't buy it. And it's just like, I get it. Here we go. Fast forward to today, and everything is virtually free.
Yep.
And we're literally getting fractions on a penny for a listen. You know what I mean? So something got to balance itself out. We're in a weird place with streaming, but I got faith that it'll all shake out.
So of course, if you get anybody who's listening or watching right now on YouTube, you've heard through the conversation, you've heard a little bit of back then, I've been around for a while or something like that, which is interesting because if you look, there was an article, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was allhiphop.com, I think. And I think the title was somewhere like this, like how Don Michael Jr. became my word might be wrong, how he became a rapper overnight.
Yeah, it was something like that. I forget what the title was.
So of course we do our digging overnight. So mind you, I want to say this was 2021, maybe. I think it was 2021. My year might be off. I'm within somewhere. But at one point, first of all, you guys may just be hearing the music now, but there's credits for none other than Red Cafe. We have credits for Lucas James, and then there is a being signed to a what you want to call it, a historical indie label that many people forgot about, being Koch, Koch.
Yeah.
So they'll let you know. He did say, "Yeah, I'm 42. I'm 43." But he's not to those in his new social media digital age, maybe. Oh, he's a new guy. You got some
Terror Squad too, right?
Yeah. I was with Terror. That was my first thing. Was Terror Squad.
Okay.
So there's some you got some. They even cut down a tree and they can tell how old the tree is. There's some rings on that.
Oh yeah.
So go back. So where did we start? Where did the story of Don Michael Jr. Were you going by Don Michael Jr. then?
No, I was going by Trax Trigger. That was my name. So it's funny, even before that, like I started out as, my name was Young because I was going to studios, and there wasn't that many studios in Jersey. I was going to studios in Philly, and I ended up like writing for people when I was like 11. Like I'm 11 years old, and I'm in the studio with like 18-year-olds, and they in there recording. I'm just trying to be around it and learn how it works and stuff. One of my dad's friends had a studio, and it was kind of, a little popular in Philly, where, everybody was going around. Mind you, this is 1991. Everybody wasn't rappers. Everybody didn't have access to a studio. Everybody didn't have beats, nothing like that. Equipment cost thousands and thousands of dollars.
The tape.
So for you to make a beat, you had to spend thousands and thousands of dollars just to make the beat, and then go to a studio to record to it. You know what I mean? It wasn't like this was just in people's houses. So when he built all that, I was over there all the time, like anytime I could be over there. And there was other rappers and stuff coming over there buying beats and rapping, and I'm just in there learning. And then one day I hear this dude rapping, and he's like, this is like back in that Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Chronic era or whatever. So he's rapping, and he's like, something, no need no beat, something, and I came to see, and I was like, I don't think you should rap it like that. And he's like, what'd you say, little man? And I'm like, I don't think you should rap it like that. And he's like, tell me how to rap it. They all like, oh, little man, better than you. Everybody. He's like, tell me how to rap it. I'm like, something, then I came to see. I don't know, something, none, dang, the need. Like, you should slow it down like that. It sound smoother. You know what I mean? It sound better. It'll flow to the beat better. Because, everybody had that little bit of Snoop Dogg influence, a little bit of Mobb Deep influence, a little bit of Biggie influence, that was that type of era. So when he did it, he was like, yo, it is better. He's like, I ain't gonna lie, it's better. And everybody's like, yo, keep the young boy. Yo, next time, make sure the young boy in here. Like, we bring the young boy to the next session. So then every time they book, they would call me up, and I would have to go over there to help them out with the song. So I started ending up like writing bars like, you shouldn't say that, you should say this, or yo, try this, or yo, this should be the hook, like stuff like that. And that's kind of where I started at. So that was my start. But that's from 11. I didn't get my first placement or anything like that until I was 18. So that's 7 years of me being in his basement, me buying equipment. The guy that was running his studio, this guy named Rob, he gave me some equipment that he wasn't using anymore. So I hooked that up in my basement, and that's when I started learning how to make beats. And my dad saw that. He bought me the keyboard of the time back then. Like, I'm looking for I'm a kid. I'm looking for the Casio rap keyboard with the little scratch pad on the side. It's $100. My dad buys me the $3,000 big boy keyboard with the disc drive. Nobody ever seen this type of shit before.
The Yamaha, the Roland. There we go.
Yeah, it was a Yamaha, and it was like that. It was like amazing. So it was like I was locked in from there. And my dad handed me the manual, and he was like, I don't know nothing about it, so make it work. So I was like, all right, cool. You know what I mean? And that's what I did every day. since then. So by the time I turned 18 and I'm sending out CDs of beats that I made and stuff like that, and I sent something to Busta Rhymes and he liked it. I was sending. So back then you had to mail stuff. So I got the address of the label and I was mailing in CDs to Busta Rhymes. And my boy Pro's aunt, because back then you had to know somebody that knew somebody that knew somebody. Mm-hmm. My boy Pro, who I rapped with, his aunt was like, hey, I know an A&R that works at Atlantic. If you try to get these beats to Busta Rhymes, I can give them to him. He might be able to give them to Busta Rhymes. He gave some stuff to Busta. Busta played some stuff for Fat Joe. Fat Joe was like, yo, I like this beat. Who's the kid that made this? And they ended up giving it to Cuban Link. So Cuban Link, who was with a part of Terror Squad back then.
Oh yeah,
he was one of Big Pun's best friends. So I did the solo song on the first Terror Squad album for Cuban Link. It's called All Around the World. So I did Cuban Link's first solo song, and then I met Cuban Link after that because I came back up to the studio to add more stuff. I'm gonna make this story way shorter. I came back up, added stuff. Cuban Link was like, I thought you was gonna come up here and fuck my record up, but what you added to it, you made it better. You made it better. Now, mind you, I'm 18 years old, never been to New York, scared as hell. I'm in the studio with Terror Squad, the real Terror Squad, like not just the rappers, like the gangsters. You know what I mean? Like I'm in the studio with Terror Squad for real. You know what I mean? This is the first time I'm seeing tats on people's face. This is 98. You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh, okay, all right. I'm up here with some
the ones riding through the street. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Fat Joe walks in, and Fat Joe was like, yo, play me some more beats or whatever. So I start playing them more stuff. I had beats on a DAT tape. If y'all don't know, go look it up. I'm sure y'all know, but other people don't know what a DAT tape is. Go look it up. So I'm playing beats on a DAT tape, and we're fast forwarding through. And Fat Joe is like, yo, all your beats sound action-packed. Now, back then, my name was, speaks to the time. My name was Infinite the Architect. Just so we get a picture of where we're at.
That's a real light-skinned name. I ain't gonna lie to you right now. That's a real light-skinned name.
It was Infinite the Architect. This is the Wu-Tang era.
I was about to say, it sound like Wu-Tang.
Yeah, this is the Wu era, 97, 98. This is what's going on. You know what I mean? So I'm Infinite the Architect, and I picked that name because I felt like nobody would ever have that name, right?
Okay.
Fat Joe's like, so what name are we putting? We're doing the split sheets, and he's like, what name are we putting on there for the production? And I'm like, I'm Infinite the Architect. He was like, we already got producers on the album named the Infinite Architects. I was like, what? I was like, what is happening right now? These the Infinite Architects did like, and they were fired too. So I was super mad. They did like some other joints on the album. So I was like, I got to change my name then at this point. I was like, he was like, so what name we putting? Man, we got to do this. We got to write this down now. So I'm like, I don't even, just put my real name. Just put Don. He was like, nah, we ain't going to just put Don Sellers on there. Let's go through it. So he's going through beats. He's like, yo, all your beats is action packed. He was like, it all sound like action movies. So, because I was like sampling theme songs and everything like that. But, you know, that Cameron era of sampling Magnum PI and you know what I mean, that type of thing. So I was doing a lot 18. Of that. Right. So he was like, yo, a lot of this sound like action pack. He's like, we're gonna call you Action Pack. That's what your name is. We putting it on there as Action Pack. And I was like, I don't really like that. But I was like, all right, whatever. Fat Joe said it. You know what I mean? So it's like go ahead. I was like, well,
it's gotta be right.
I was like, could you put it as AP? You know what I mean? So he's like, yeah, we'll put it as AP to stand for Action Pack. So I was like, all right, cool. So we put Don AP Sellers on there. So that's what I produced it as. And then after that, I was working on Cuban Link's album. And one other time I seen Fat Joe, he was like, yo, Action Pack Tracks or whatever. He shook my hand. And I was like, oh shit, I like that better. Action Pack Tracks or AP Tracks. So I became AP Tracks. And then later that turned into Tracks Trigger. And then I changed my name when I decided to drop a solo album, which was 2013. I unchanged my name. I was like, yo, I'm tired of going by like a pseudonym and these nicknames and everything. My first solo album was because I never dropped one. I was like, from 11 years old to 33, with the full capability of producing an album and recording myself and mixing it and mastering it and putting it out, I never did it. I was like, I'm going to do this now. You know, things had changed in my life. I had a daughter. I was like, I want to do this, but I want to do it under my real name. That way, if anything happens to me, my daughter can go and hear my music and hear what her dad was and where he was in life. So that's why I unchanged my name. So that's the story and the journey of my name and my placements and everything like that.
What do you enjoy more, writing, being a producer, or being an artist? Like rapping.
It changes, bro. It changes every day. It's upsetting because more and more people ask me like, yo, what's the goal? What's the end goal? Like, do you want to like become the biggest rapper? Like, you trying to break yourself into production? I'm just like, I don't know. I've done everything since the beginning.
Right.
Like, since I was 11, I learned how to make beats so I could rap to them. I was writing raps to my beats. Right. You know what I mean? So it's like, yo, I only learned how to make beats so I could rap to them. So technically, I guess I was a rapper first.
Yeah.
But rap won't allow me to make pop beats. You know what I mean? Right. I enjoy making Britney Spears style, Kesha style pop. That's like when I broke into the pop world, right? Through a different venture. So yeah, it didn't let me make R&B stuff. So I ended up just kind of falling in love with production, and then Frankie Storm got me into songwriting, and I really just learned how to write other music for other people and writing country songs and working with Cash Money and working with Koch. I'm doing, Capone. So the production allowed me to go into different worlds. The rapping didn't really pop off literally until last year.
So let me ask you this then. I mean, I'm from North, and David's from Jersey, New York. So I'm fully aware of Camden. You know what I'm saying? Being from Camden, right? Yo, how did you get your pop influence? Like, where did that come from? Because everybody you think of Camden, you like, nah, rap. You gonna get maybe some R&B because Philly, over there, But where did the pop come in, like the influence?
That came from, I was signed to a writer named Frankie Storm. I met Frankie through MySpace.
Okay.
I was just looking for people to work with on MySpace, and I found Frankie. She had music on her page, and she was super dope. Her voice was dope. So I was like, yo, what's your email? I want to send you beats or whatever. So I was just sending her, like, I was, messing with R&B, hip hop R&B stuff. I was sending that to her. Right. And I just didn't, she emailed me back, yo, I love these are fire. And I didn't hear from her for like 6 months. And I was just like, damn, I wonder what happened to that girl. I wanted to record with her. Right. And then she popped back up. I emailed her. She's like, yo, it's been crazy. Yo, I love your beats still. Like, I'm going to definitely work with you. Let me tell you all that's been going on with me. I just wrote this song. Please don't stop the music for Rihanna. And I'm like, wow. Oh, shit. You know what I mean? So she wrote, she wrote Hold It, Don't Drop It for J-Lo. Yeah. And then Please Don't Stop the Music for Rihanna. And then she got signed to Sony. So she's on Sony as a writer. And she's like, yo, I'm fucking with you. You was the only person that ever sent me beats before I got my deal. She's like, you the only person that ever did it. So I'm fucking with you. Like, you know how to make pop music? And I was like, yup.
I do now.
Give me a minute. Started listening to pop music and started studying, like, oh, okay, these are the chord progressions. Okay, these are the drums. This is that. And I started learning it. And then just working with her, going up to the studio and her being like, yo, this part needs to change right here. And this should be slower. And let's put some more music right here. And she kind of coached me into it and showed me how to write it. I know how to write raps and I know how to write R&B, but she showed me like the style of writing pop music and pop R&B and just overall just basic song format. And she really like put me on for real. So I always call her my songwriting mom, and I'll always credit her for putting me into like the background of the game. You know what I mean? Like as far as songwriting goes and other genres, because she's an amazing songwriter. Like even still to this day, she's cooking. But she like I said, she wrote Please Don't Stop the Music for Rihanna. So everybody wanted one of those. Yeah. Everybody wanted a techno hit. She bought techno back. Like that song bought techno back. It wasn't in the state. So she had a crazy track record for that. Yeah. No, absolutely. She had a crazy track record. And to give you a little insight on her track record, Sony, when you sign a publishing deal, they give you sometimes they give you something called an MDR, which is a minimum delivery requirement, and you have to deliver a certain amount of songs to the label that place or whatever, a certain amount of placements. And in her MDR, placements outside of the country didn't count. Placements on additional albums didn't count, like the bonus album or like the deluxe or whatever, that didn't count. Her MDR was 100 placements over like 4 years or whatever, 3-4 years, however long her deal was. She beat that MDR the first year.
Damn.
She beat it the first year. She had 100 placements that came out in the United States the first year. You know, because you forget about a lot of the pop acts that do actually drop albums. Brooke Hogan and 3LW and all these types of people that actually are popping out. She's writing, yo, I wrote that one for Sierra. Yo, I did that one for this. And it's just like, oh, okay. She's out here. Jordan Sparks, you know, Jay Sean. Like you forget about all these artists, but she's penning all this stuff. She was really on fire. And she beat her MDR the first year. And Sony was like, we got to get her back. And she was like, we need a bag then. I need a bag. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So
I bet.
She got her bag. Then she beat her second MDR and it was a wrap. She beat the second one too. And it was a wrap. She was like, nah, I need like 5 minutes. I need something stupid. You know what I mean? And they gave it to her. And so Frankie is great. Frankie.
So look, real quick, because Sean already put it out there on the sense that we do our due diligence. And I told you I was going through the catalog. And I got caught on a specific song.
Okay.
And I know we're gonna talk about the new album, but this is last year. This is on the this is not music album.
Okay.
Dive into your thought process of dealing with loss with the Funeral Black track.
Yo, I had
because that one I played probably 5 times in a row before I could get to the next song.
Bro, I tried to record that verse 5 times in a row and couldn't get through it. I couldn't get through it. There's extra bars that's missing from that song because I couldn't get through it. So what happened is my man rest in peace his soul. My man O Diesel is a person, like I said, when I mentioned my boy Pro and his aunt that sent my music up. I was in a big rap group. Like I said, that was the era of Wu-Tang. We had been in a rap group. It was 7 of us. It was me, O, Pro, and a bunch of other people that was in this group. But O was the person that O was the only person that I didn't kind of grow up with. We met O my freshman year in college. He was just sitting at the table, banging on the table and writing raps. And me and Pro was in college. We walked by his table. It's like, you rap? He's like, yeah, I rap. It's like, let me hear something. We go outside. He raps. I'm like, oh, yo, he fire. Yo, come to our studio. We leave school, go straight to the studio. We playing him our music. He's like, yo, whatever y'all doing, I want to be down. It's like, cool. And from then on, that's how easy it is for dudes to make friends, right? So from then on, it was like we was just brothers. You know what I mean? But O was always the one that was like, yo, you got it. Like, you making these beats, like you rapping, like you got it, yo. Like, you the one. You the RZA of this. You the one. You know what I mean? That's what he kept telling me. So, you know, when everybody goes through life and they start falling off and everything else. You know, he just had real life. He had a son. He had to start working. He couldn't spend his time trying to make it in rap anymore. Well, you know, for me, this is my life, so I have to keep going. You know what I mean?
Right.
But that always my brother. Always call, check on me like every few months. So during the pandemic, he passed. During the pandemic, he just, I don't know what happened exactly, but it was just like an overdose. I don't know if it was a OD or I don't know if it was fentanyl, fake pills, like whatever. I never really got the clarity on that as far as that goes, but he passed back, you know, September of 2020. And I was working on my album 2021. You know, we went to the funeral and I just never processed it. And I thought that I processed it, but I didn't deal with it. I didn't know how to deal with grief because I never lost somebody that was that close to me. I've lost my grandmom and everything like that, but that's not like somebody that you see, chill with, talk to every day. You know what I mean? That's my grandmom. You know what I mean? This is my man. This is my brother. And he passed. So I thought I dealt with it. So when I write the verse, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna give my man O a shout out. That intro was completely different, by the way. That album was the first album I went back to a lot of songs and changed stuff. Because normally I just do stuff and I'm just like, whatever, I'm gonna do that. That's my first instinct. That's probably right. I'm gonna just put that out. For that album, I went and took it around and played it for people like I do most of my projects. And my man Lester London told me something when I played him that song. He was like, yo, I feel like normally when you play me your music, it's something that I don't think I'll get from anybody else. He was like, in this, I feel like it's fire, but it's not something that I can't get somewhere else. So I was like, okay, cool. So I went back and I was like, I'm not being personal enough. Let me go back, and because I'm normally very personal. If you listen to the albums before the one one, I'm super personal all the time. And this album, I felt like I was just not being as personal. So I went back and I was like, let me talk about shit that I be avoiding talking about. You know what I mean?
Let's vent.
And it's like, let me just vent, because that song is supposed to be lyrical. My color songs are supposed to be lyrical. And then I was like, but let me just vent. Started venting. I wrote those bars about and then I went to rap it. And when I rapped it, I just felt my nose flaring and my tear ducts filling up, and I'm starting to cry. And I'm like, yo, why am I crying? Oh, past a year ago. Like, what is going on or whatever? And I guess I just never talked about it. You know what I mean? And what I said in the song was I can't remember the exact lyric, but basically I said, you're the one that told me I'm the one at the moments that I felt zero. But I couldn't get that line out. I tried 5-6 times, because every time I rapped it, I started remembering him yelling at me, like on the phone. You know what I mean? Where I'm just like, yo, I'm about to just quit that rap shit, man. I'm just focused on making beats. And him screaming on me like, nigga, the fuck you talking about? The fuck you the fucking one, nigga. When you ever been in the room and ain't felt like you was the fucking one, nigga? You acting like you a zero right now when you the one. And I remember that conversation so vivid. So when I'm rapping those bars, his voice is starting to come in my head of him saying that, and I just start pouring tears. So I'm like, all right, let me take a break, wipe my tears. I'm like, damn, I ain't never really sat down and just cried like this. This is crazy. Like, why won't I stop crying? So I film myself. And that's the interlude that comes on right after that song. It's me saying like, yo, I can't get through these bars about without crying. You know what I mean? So I filmed myself crying because I'm like, I want to remember this for me. And I was like, maybe this will be useful for something else. You know what I mean? Or maybe this will be useful when I'm dealing with some other grief or something like that. So I just filmed myself. And then that thing that Lester London said popped in my head, where he's like, yo, you're not being personal enough. I feel like I could get this from somebody else.
Right.
So I was like, shit, I'm putting this on the album too. I was like, fuck it. I'm not even going back and fixing the part where I started crying. I'm leaving that too. Like, how much more personal can I get? Like, I don't think people know how much I am an artist and I'm dedicated to giving my life to this shit. So I was like, let me leave all this shit on here and let people really see, like, this is real. This ain't some song I made up, man. This is my life, like, detail. You know what I mean?
It gave me a feeling. And fellas, if you haven't heard the track, definitely go back and listen to this track.
Absolutely.
But it gave me that feeling. If y'all remember when I was telling y'all, and I know y'all seen it by now, when Jay-Z is sitting there in the shop and they're talking about performing, and he said DMX went on first. And he said DMX blessed that crowd through every emotion known to man. And then he says his prayer and he has grown men crying and everything else. And he walks off stage and he's like, here you go. And he's like, what the hell?
Right.
Like,
hard knock life.
He's like, what am I supposed to do there?
Right.
So it gave me that feel, because I'm telling you, I listened to it first and I was like, oh, wait a minute. Because you gotta, when something hits you like that, you gotta go back. So I went back and I said, let me listen again. And then I said, oh, wait a minute. And then it gets you thinking about your own loss. So then you listen again. And now it's personal by that third time.
Right.
Then that fourth time, maybe by the fifth time, you're like, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And then I actually had to stop. Because like I said, I was listening to the albums right through. I had to stop and kind of just, that
recalibrate yourself for a second.
Like I couldn't even go to the next track. I was like, all right, let me just, and that lets you know you got across what you needed to get across. Right. I can go through so many different tracks, but when I said when I start talking about music with him, I got to get to this track because it hit me personally through any type of loss. So I know anybody making it. I know the process that they had to go through. I was like, oh man.
Yeah, like I tried to record that verse 4 or 5 takes, and I kept crying at that same part. But I was like, let me get through the verse. So that's why, like, I just kept rapping on that last take. I just kept rapping. I was like, I'm not gonna be able to. Let me just get through the verse so that I can go back and punch that part in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then that's when I was just like, nah, I'm just gonna leave it. I'm just leave it like that. Like I said, there's a bar missing from the album because I just left that blank. You know what I mean? But I think it worked out just fine. I think people got to know that it's real. You know,
that's wild to hear that, because like it got me thinking like this was supposed to happen. Like your man London, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you drop a lot of music to him. You know, I know that's a trusted ear, you know, for you or whatever. And the fact that he told you, like, yo, this is tough, but like, yo, you could do more essentially with this, you know, and in some ways, and maybe you didn't realize it, you know, at that moment, you know, you probably just looked at it, you know, just a challenge like I could go win. But I don't think, you know, I'm pretty sure now you get it, but like what came out of that, you know, and then I think about a little bit deeper, like for Black men, you know what I'm saying? We wasn't raised to talk about our feelings. We wasn't raised to express ourselves. We was raised to suppress, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Shit that we're
absolutely.
dealing with, you know what I mean? And it's like in some kind of way, he was telling you like, yo, you got to go in. And maybe that was his way of saying, I mean, he probably ain't know what was going to evoke that. But I mean, in some kind of way, that was therapy, yo. Because all of that stuff that you was holding in from your man was able to get released out of there, and you needed to do that. You know what I'm saying? And you were saying like, yo, typically, you know, I know you're usually personable, but you know, you had a wall on some of the stuff that you talked about. He was like, nah, fuck it. Like, I'm about to let loose on this one.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it came out personable, you know what I'm saying? So it's just funny how like certain things work. You know what I mean? That's kind of cool.
Yeah. It was a good chain, and I'm glad that I did it. One of the most special moments that happened for me because of that song was somebody telling me that song saved their life. Like literally. I mean, I get a lot of people that say that my music saved their life or brought them out of a depression or stuff like that. But this one person in particular told me the story of how it saved his life. He sent me a long Facebook message about the detail of it. And basically he suffered from depression, and then he started drinking to cope with his depression, and it kind of turned him into an alcoholic.
Right.
And he just didn't want to deal with either thing anymore. It's like, yo, I'm still getting depressed, and in order for me to run from my depression, I started drinking. Right. He was like, and both things are like fucking me up, bro. And he was like, he said he was about to check out, and then he saw one of my skits, and it sent him on a rabbit hole to finding more of my skits. And he heard a clip of that song, and he was like, oh, I want to hear that song. Then he went and listened to the song, heard how upset I was about dying, and then said, yo, that's how upset people would be if I killed myself. He was like, because he said that night he was gonna check out, he was gonna kill himself. Right. He said, like, I literally had like the full bottle of pills, I was ready. Right. You know, he was like, and I'm scrolling through, kind of basically scrolling through, looking at like who he wants to say goodbye to or see for the last times. Right. And then he finds my skits and finds that song, and then hears how upset I am about my man dying, and then it's like, yo, I don't want to have people feel like that about me. Right. So he hit me and he's like, yo, I want you to know that I'm checking into a rehab because of this song. And this rehab is going to save my life. And then he hit me. He was like, then he hit me and it was like, yo, the rehab turned me down. They don't accept my insurance. I can't pay them straight up or whatever. He was like, I don't know what the fuck to do. So I'm like talking to him. I'm just like, yo, bro, like, if you really want to get help, go to another rehab. Go to the one that's further away. Go to the one that's in the next town. Like, I'm telling you, it's possible. Right. You can do it. You know what I mean? Like, dealing with any of this shit is possible. Trust me. Right. And then he hit me like a day later and he's like, yo, found a rehab. They accept my insurance. I got to turn in my phone. I'm turning it in right now. I got to do 30 days without it. I'll hit you back in a month. And he hit me back in a month. And he was like, yo, he was like, I'm clean. I'm feeling better than ever. I'm ready to attack the world. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. And he still hits me to this day. Like he'll hit me up to let me know like how he's doing and shit like that. It's just important shit to me, man. It's like if that song did that for him, and hopefully it's doing that for other people that just didn't care to message me, I feel like everything was worth it. Like that edit that Lester made me do, completely worth it, bro. So yeah.
You ever think your music would hit like that? Because I think, you know, when a lot of people make music, like, I don't know if they're looking at it from the impact. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, yo, I want to make music. I love this. You know what I'm saying? But you don't think about like the messaging and what your music could be for somebody. So like, you know, that's dope, bro.
Yeah, I never like foresaw that. I did when I dropped my first solo album. I had a song on there called "No Pressure," and that song was about my parents losing their crib. And me feeling like, damn, if I was further along in my career or something like that, I could have been able to help or pay for something. Right. So that song was just me venting, right? Most of that album was just very personal. And that song was just me venting. And I remember somebody hitting me up about that song and being like, yo, that's how I felt when I know it's not the same thing, but I remember when my grandmom lost her crib, bro, and that's the crib that we grew up in. So I felt, you know what I mean? So I feel you. And that was the first time I realized, damn, it don't even got to be somebody's exact story.
Right.
You can just, somebody will just put themselves in my shoes and relate that emotion to my story. And I guess I'm helping them out by letting them know that I'm still here. And like, you know, somebody else is going through that same type of thing. So that worked out too. So yeah, I never saw my music saving lives, but it's crazy that it does.
Right.
I'm glad that
Earl took my question. He took my thanks, Earl. Thanks for taking my question.
Earl didn't make the production meeting, man.
He did. Earl did the production meeting. We just talk like we talk. Hey, but I was going to ask in that case, man, because that is, you know, we talk. You know, we're what makes your music, your music and everything else so appealing to me is something that sometimes Dave and Earl and some other people they joke about me about, because we're the same age. I think I'm like a year older than you.
Okay.
And you started a little earlier than I did. I started as a musician when I was 7. But in the production, beat making and rapping space, I was 25, 26.
Okay.
And you know, the rap space is one of those ones where, for whatever reason, that's the only one that has a age bar on it. And then once you get to a certain point, people go past it. And then you go through different things. And tell me if I'm wrong. You start off, you know, when you're a new artist, you're trying to break ground. You're trying to break through. Hey, I'm introducing you to this new thing. And then you get to this point to where you may achieve a little bit of success. Or maybe a lot of success, but then you get that one piece album, something like that, there you end up getting really emotional. What we were just talking about just now, stuff started happening, real life started happening, and you create that emotional piece. And then after that, typically you end up going to the space where you kind of like ascend a little further, and now you get into the a little older, a little more wiser, and be like talking your shit type space. And the part where I said Earl took my part from it, because I was like, has there ever been a time, because I know music is your life, but from this the writing, songwriting, rapping part, because you can, as a producer, we got producers who can still doing this until they're late, you know, give them an age. But as far as their rapping piece, has there ever gotten a point to where you felt like, I'm just going to just create producing, and I'll just put that mic down because I have nothing else either to give, or is not being received in the manner that I want it to be received?
Yeah, but my first solo project was supposed to be my last thing that I did as far as rapping goes. I only did the solo project because I'd never done one. I've been rapping for so long that I had never done one. I always been in groups. So I was always, you know, I was in a group before I did that album 3 Day. I was in a group with my man who's my partner in my business, Devin Wade, phenomenal rapper. He has a podcast as well. He does the Devin Wade Show. I don't know if y'all know, he was on he was $1 million worth of game, so y'all might know him as Dev Nasty. He was the person that was.
I watched it. I listened to that podcast. So I think I probably listened to him.
Okay,
already.
he was on like the first 50 episodes of $1 Million Worth of Game.
Okay.
That was actually like a show we created here, but I won't even get into that.
Fair enough.
Wallow and all that stuff. But yeah. So I rapped with Dev when me and Dev was also signed to Frankie Storm too. After me and Dev unsigned from Frankie, because Frankie would like disappear. Frankie would just disappear off the map, and then we're just sitting in limbo. It's like, all right, Frank, we learned a lot. We love you, you know what I mean? But you be disappearing.
Frankie busy.
Start doing our own thing.
Fair.
After we got out that deal, Dev was like, yo, I'm gonna focus on my artwork. I'm gonna start trying to create some other stuff, you know, because Dev is a hand-drawn artist too.
Okay.
He was focused on some other stuff. I was like, well, I still got to do music. There's a music studio I got to run. I got to figure out what I'm going to do. I was like, you know what? I never dropped a solo album. Let me just drop this album. I was like, that's what I'm going to do before I check out of here. Like, before I stop rapping, I'm going to do a solo album and see how that works. We had made some headway. We were running a label. We had our own indie label. So we made some contacts with like people at Apple and iTunes and stuff like that. We met some people. I dropped my solo album. I sent it to them. They put it on the front page of iTunes. Now, it doesn't make a difference if, you know, people see an artist they don't know. It's like, whatever. But for some reason, with my album, it was the front page of iTunes. People started buying it crazy. And it ended up charting top 100 on iTunes top 200. So this is the first time I ever charted on anything. So I was just like,
okay,
I drop a solo album.
We got something here.
Charts. What is happening right now? Like, who is listening to me? Like, I don't have any money for promo, or there's no social media ads at this point, and nothing like that. This is before streaming and all that stuff happened. So this is really just iTunes album by an unknown artist that you've never heard of, but people are buying it, and so many people bought it. It charted. So I was like, I gotta rap again. Like, I got to keep going now. You know what I mean? Like, because
I got to focus on this.
Yeah, it's like, let me try it. I never even thought about doing it solo. You know what I mean? I always felt better in a group, and because that's how I started. You know what I mean? So I always felt more comfortable having somebody right next to me. Nah, don't do that bar. Write this bar. Yo, don't do this. The problem is Dev, well, not the problem because it worked out great. Dev is super lyrical. It's difficult rapping next to Dev. Like, he's one of the best rappers that's ever rapped. So, and I'm aware of who has rapped. You know what I mean? I'm not like, oh, that's my boy and he's the best. It's like, no, I'm very aware of who has rapped and what their bar is like. And Dev's one of the best rappers to ever rap. You know what I mean? So, rapping next to a nigga that's one of the best rappers to ever rap is difficult, and you run out of bars. And that's what happened for my solo album. I was like, well, I just came off this album with Dev that we just dropped, and I'm the fuck out of bars, bro. I don't know what to compare what to what. I don't know what bar. I don't know what the hell I'm saying. But I do know my method of breaking writer's block has always been to just write a true story. It was like, let me just write a true story because it's already written. I'm not going to be able to make words rhyme. Yeah. It already happened. Let me just rap it. So that's what I started doing on that album. On 3-Day, I was just writing a bunch of true stories. And I was like, let me rap about stuff that I couldn't rap about when I was in a group with Dev. Like, Dev doesn't drive. Let me make a song about driving. I made a song called Driving Past Cop Cars. Dev doesn't have any kids. Let me make a song about my daughter. Dev doesn't, you know what I mean? So it was like, let me just do all the things that I couldn't do in groups. Let me do them as a solo artist. And I dropped that album. It charted. And that's what kind of set the whole trajectory of me being super personal, was because I was writing all these true stories because I was feeling like I didn't have any bars. You know what I mean? So it was like, I'm out of bars. I'm just going to write my life. And that's what got people. And that's what I learned from. I was like, damn, my life is way more interesting to people than the comparison or the wordplay of this. And that's what made me start listening to everything. You know, just to go back to what you were saying earlier about like the influence or what I listen to now or what I think of today's rap. What I think of today's rap is a lot of us, especially in our age bracket, grew up on wordplay. We grew up on lyrical rappers and people that know how to compare this to that and make it this sound like that, these rhyme schemes and these certain flows. But what was happening in the South and what was happening in a lot of other parts of the Midwest was people was just rapping about their life. And that's what rap fans fell in love with. Those areas rap fans fell in love with. So when I started listening to them, all of a sudden I understood the stuff that I hated back in the day, like Master P and all that stuff that make them say, I ain't want to hear none of that. But now I understand about energy and about people rapping about their life or their hood, and just it wasn't no comparison. So I thought it sucked, but really it was more accurate, and it was really just about their life. So that was when I was about to put the mic down, until I realized, damn, I'm doing something that I've never done, and became interesting again. Was just me rapping about my life. So I was going to put the mic down, but that ended it. When I got the chance to tell people who I was and how I lived, I just kept going. And
look,
10 years later,
I know we said we definitely want to touch on this new album. So first off, let's go over the meaning for that name, for the Wolves Smell Joy.
Okay.
Where that came from. And then I told you, I'm gonna put it out. I listened to the whole album. I told you through Spotify, you can put your own things into the playlist and make it what you want. There's honestly, I think there was only one, maybe two songs that I didn't pull in. That it was a very, very good album.
Thank you.
So I say it to you in that sense because I want to talk about the meaning of the album, especially the title. And then secondly on it, hold on one second. I want to make sure one thing on it. Secondly on it,
we take notes,
is the art of the skits. Because that's a very missed art. I haven't felt that skit action since, if y'all remember like the old Snoop Dogg albums and things like that, where you used to you would skip tracks to go to the skit.
Yeah.
And there's an art to it. Don't think these things are just thrown out there. There's an art to making these skits. Yeah. So meaning of the album, and then we'll dive deeper into the album, and then also the art of the skit.
Okay. The Wolves Smell Joy. First of all, Dev drew that cover too. That's Dev.
Oh,
that
sweet.
Drew that. The meaning of the Wolves Smell Joy. It was a couple different things that was happening to me, like because this is the first project since the last project kind of blew up, and now I got all this attention and people looking. So, basically, that project was the fastest project that I've ever done, fastest solo project that I've ever done. I started working on that one in August of 2022, and I finished it probably by October or whatever. So really like 2 months of doing that. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna just hold it, fine tune it, and drop it in January. But then January came, and then some other stuff happened. Some other companies was like reaching out. So I was like holding it and waiting to see what shook out with these other situations. That's how I ended up linking with even.biz to drop it. So while I was working on the album, I was going through other things, like dealing with social media, because this is where my reach is. This is where my fan base is coming from. I started getting like for example, Facebook is where my largest market is. I got blocked on Facebook in August for posting a meme, just a meme that I found on Facebook. I reposted it, and Facebook said, "Yo, you're blocked. No posting for 30 days. And after the 30 days, we're gonna push whatever you do post to the bottom of the feed." It literally says this in the message. So I'm like, oh wow, this is crazy. Wow. The meme was just a dude kissing a girl. That's what the meme was. And so it's like, yo, I guess somebody was reporting me or whatever. And I was just like, it feels like in my mind, I'm always looking at the negative thing that happened. All this good shit is happening, and I'm zeroed in. I'm focused in on this negative thing. And I started noticing that I would do it in the comments. I would get a billion fire emojis, hearts, yo, I love this. This is fire. But that one person, yo, this shit sucked. And there I go replying like, what sucks about it? Tell me what sucks. Who you listen to? What, you know what I mean? It's just like that. So I'm ignoring all this. I'm ignoring all this good shit to get to the one negative thing that's like searing at me. You know what I mean? And I was like, I think people know that negative attention stands out from the positive attention. You know, so that's why people will choose to say the negative thing in the midst of. I'm about to say
they do it on purpose. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And I was like, it's almost like they feed off of it. And the thoughts that started jumping in my head, like the wolves smell joy. You know what I mean? So it was like they see you happy, they see things doing good. They're like, oh, here I go. You know what I mean? Like oh, where the happy nigga at? Let me get that. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, cool. That's part of what that meaning was. The other meaning was I do that to myself. Like I have this belief that things are I'm not a big religious person, but I do believe in like balance and energy and stuff like that. And I notice that I believe that when something good happens to me, that something bad's coming.
To balance it out.
Self-sabotage.
Yeah. So it's like just as good as the good can get. I'm like, damn, something got to balance that out, yo. Like something bad is coming. And I've noticed it my whole life. I've always been like, not noticing that maybe the bad thing happened and that's why something good is coming. That's just an outlook of the way to look at it. But that's not how I see it right now.
Half empty, half full.
Album.
Yep.
I made that album. I was seeing it as, damn, look at all this good shit that's happening. Something bad is coming. You know what I mean? Yep. And that's what made me be like, yeah, the wolves smell joy. Because that's like the negative thoughts in my mind that's kind of attacking the good things and the good position that I was in. So that's the title. And I thought that leaving it kind of open like that, the wolves smell joy, would let people just do their own interpretation of it. But the main thought process is just that there's ups and downs, there's good and bad. So just be wary of everything. You know what I mean? Like, and just be cautious, even of yourself. Like, you don't let yourself attack yourself.
Right. Right. And then the art of the skit.
The skits.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Okay, so the skits, I feel like the last album I did a therapy theme. I had thought of that before I had made the first song. I had wanted to do the therapy thing because I saw it. Like, something every now and then, whether it's a beat, it's a song, I'll get hit with everything. I'll get hit with a full, complete thing. It just jumps in my head. And for that album, the merch and the look of the album hit me. It was like, yo, I want to do all white, everything. Like, I want to do like the cleanest, like simplest, most bare bones, what is it called? Minimalistic. I want to do the most bare bones minimalistic thing that I can do. I want the production to be minimalistic. I want the cover art. I want my merch to be minimalistic. My visuals, everything is gonna have the same look to it. And I was like, and my girl was like, well, what is it that it's gonna look like? And I was like, I just want it to be empty. I just want it to be white. I was like, and I'm gonna pick the simplest font that I could find, and everything's gonna have that same font. So my videos, my merch, everything, the album cover had the same font. And I was like, I just want it to be like that. And I was like, in ink blots. I want to do ink blots, like, because I have a therapy thing in my mind. And you know how back in the day they used to show like ink blots, like, what does this image look like? What is this this ink look like? You know, what does this make you think of? So I never got around to doing the ink blot thing, but the minimalistic thing and the therapy theme was like a thing from the beginning. So that therapy theme, the girl that's doing it, her name is Mimi Gibson. That's like one of my peoples. That's the same girl that's in the visuals for that album. She's a dope actress and everything. And she's always, through my whole solo career, played a role in the universe that I've been building. Right. So I have a universe and she's a character in it. She's always a different character, but she's a person inside. She's in my videos. She's in like mad other shit. You know what I mean? Even before these last two albums. So when I did this album, I was like, yo, this one, I need you to be my protagonist. Like, I need you to fight against me, but like in a shady way. Like, I need you to be a wolf. Like, I need you to be like the person that's trying to bait me, kind of gaslight me, kind of like,
yeah,
you know what I
mean? Okay, all right.
Yeah,
that's what this whole thing kind of feels like. You know what I mean? It's like there's a lot of other stuff that goes into it, man. Like there's some label stuff that's happened. There's a lot of other stuff. And I was like, yo, just be this person and say these things so that these songs have a little bit more meaning to them and people could catch it. You know what I mean? So I think the art of the skit kind of draws people in because it might give people a different perspective of listening to the song. Of course, you want to get the meaning of the song when you listen, but with a skit there and kind of introducing it, it might put you in a different zone, in a different space to receive the song different. You know what I mean? So I think it's important, and I think it's missing today. Tory Lanez is great at skits too, by the way. Tory Lanez does do a lot of skits. He's one of the people that I was like, oh wait, we could do skits? He like made me realize, like, oh shit, I forgot we could do skits. Like,
yeah, but, I mean, back in the day, you would sit back and you look at an album that y'all have 21 tracks on it. but like 7 of them were skits.
Skits, yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
I remember Busta Rhymes used to make his skits be like as the lead up to the next song, and on the CD it would be counting down, like so the skit was like in this like invisible place on the CD. And I was like, that was always super dope how he did that.
That's when the world was going to end at 2000. Then he had just flipped script.
Then he switched it up. People, it goes back to the earlier conversation about like everybody's kind of worried about hits. That's another thing that makes those albums not sound like albums, is because every song is kind of separate. You know, there's nothing linking to the next thing. You don't get too many songs running into the next song. Where I wanted my albums to feel like albums. You know what I mean? I wanted to feel like, listen to the whole project. You know, and instead of like, oh, you heard that song, you like that song. It's like, no,
you can't cut it off like a series.
Right.
It ends with that dramatic ending. Damn, I gotta watch the next episode.
Right. Yeah, that's what I wanted.
Yep. You got it.
That's the one thing that I caught, because I'm listening to the album and I got it going and I'm at work and I'm doing some stuff there and I'm like, did I just skip to a whole nother damn song? And because the transition from one to one, and what I love stories. Everyone knows I love this story of the whole thing. My question to you is, would you consider this, or maybe you haven't gotten there yet, your unicorn album, meaning the one project that you may find yourself chasing maybe 2-3 albums from now?
Which album are you talking about?
The Wolf Smell Joy.
No, the thing that's crazy is, This Is Not Music was my unicorn album.
Got you.
Because that's the one that like blew up, right? So the reason that I wanted to do The Wolf Smell Joy so fast was to prove to myself that that's not my peak. You know what I mean? I started having the wolves in the back of my head, like, yo, ain't nobody going, that you ain't gonna get no better than that album, bro. Like, look, that's the one that blew up. That's the one that got you. That's it. It's downhill from here. And I was like, nah, let me go in the studio right now. Let me work on the quickest album that I could possibly work on, and see how fast I could put together something that I think is also worthy of putting out. And I made The Wolf Smell Joy in 2 months. And to me, that one has less skips than the one before. You know what I mean? Because obviously it's me. I never think that there's skips. You know, I'm making this stuff about my life. But there's songs that I end up going back to more than the other songs, right? And this one, I end up like letting the whole album play even more. So it's like, I kind of just wanted to make sure I could beat This Is Not Music with The Wolf Smell Joy. And now I got to make sure that I beat The Wolf Smell Joy with this next one. You know what I mean? So,
but that's the battle itself.
Right.
Yeah.
Wolf. It's the wolf.
I love it. So of course, man, this is All Black Everything, Volume 3, the Hot Seat Podcast. Of course, it's presented by All Black Everything 24/7, 365 hours. Make sure you guys shop that All Black Everything 247.com.
Not so breaking news.
So this is some big not so breaking news, because we're about to experience it this weekend going into next week. Bob Iger, who is Disney's CEO, rebranded CEO, Bob Iger finally admits what many fans have been saying for months, and that is that Disney theme park hikes were too aggressive. He wants to be able to get people in the parks, but now people can't even pay for the parks unless you speak to myself and Sean and find your way around that. I'm not going to say it on the air, though. But either way, nope. or your family with Earl. I'm not going to say that either. All right.
Yeah.
So he exactly said a vacation to Walt Disney World or Disneyland has never been more expensive for anybody, and nobody would call this a cheap trip. But in the last couple of years, prices have skyrocketed from the addition of new added costs like the Genie Plus, which actually used to be a fast pass, which was free back then. And now you got to pay for it. And then to the massive across the board price increases on nearly everything at both Disney World and Disneyland. He just said he wants to focus on a way of at least lowering the prices of getting you in there, and then they hit you with the price.
So, you know how that should have gone down? Just stop fucking going, yo.
I hear
Take
you on
your
that.
ass to Donny Park, yo.
Yeah, we had that discussion. We had that discussion. But have any of you, I already know you, Sean, but this is kind of across the board. Have any of you recently been to Disney? And
Not
if you
recently.
have, okay. If you can remember to even when you went or hear stories about people that are going, this is a trip that honestly you got to build up for.
Yes.
And I was we were speaking about this offline on the Xbox. You know, I was telling Earl, I was like, this joint is like a rite of passage for a parent. You have a daughter. You know, it's like, you know, you come back from summer and the first question you ask is where you went. And if you keep on coming back and you haven't said Disney any of these times, like, damn, yo, you need to speak to your parents. But this trip, I don't care if you go 2 days or you go a week, you're spending thousands. Thousands. So,
man,
you know, what y'all think?
Me and the missus last year, you guys know, we last year for my birthday, we were actually going to Jamaica last year. And then we get down to Florida. Yeah, we were on a flight. We land in Florida and only to find out that Jamaica was closed. Literally because they had the air traffic control strike. So on a whim, she looked at me. She was like, "You want to go to Disney?" In my mind, I'm like, "What do you mean you want to go to Disney?" First of all, we're in Fort Lauderdale. We got to drive to Orlando, and you can't just go to Disney. You know, I know we got a little bit of money, but I didn't think we had made it that far. First of all, none of my albums have done 3 million streams on goddamn Apple. No, I'll tell you that the fuck right now. You know, I'm depending on all this other stuff that I'm doing. But on the serious note, we went there. We were like, all right, cool. So we went in and got our money back from Jamaica, which was cheaper than that Disney trip for my birthday.
It definitely is. Yeah.
And just drove up and bought 2 tickets and just got all this stuff. And we were there enjoying ourselves. We got back home. I was like, fuck did I spend money on? Like, Jesus Christ.
Y'all went to Disney without kids?
Yeah, but even still, we were 2 big kids though. We were still kids, man. We were still. Hey, look. First of all, she was drunk coming out of the Star Wars bar. She was done. She was. We all got kids, right? And even growing up, has your mom ever told you stop like touching stuff? Like don't run your hand or don't touch stuff in the bathroom or something like that.
Right.
So we come out of like the little Star Wars bar. She's so drunk. She's literally walking and she's dragging her hand across the handrail. And I'm like, babe, stop. What the hell are you doing? She said, it just feels so nice. Drunk as shit. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Listen, stop for a moment, Sean, because I just want to go to Earl for a moment. Earl, I can tell you right now, from the outside looking in, it's the most happiest place on earth, kid-wise, family, and all that type of stuff. I could show you a good time as an adult at different things in Disney. I finally realized, listen, I can tell you and realize why when I went as a kid, how my dad disappeared. And I was like, yo, where is he at? And we would meet him on the other side of the park at Epcot Center. And I was like, this guy just went and drank at every single country.
Yes.
In the whole park.
Yes.
Yeah, I believe it, but I could get that same drunk right here. So like,
I feel you. I feel
well,
you.
I'm about to be drunk in 3 days. I'm about to be drunk in 3 days.
Tell Rashawn I'll holler at him in a couple years.
I don't give a fuck about that shit. I got Disney Plus, yo. That shit is expensive. Like, that motherfucker watches that shit. Like that.
Oh, man.
Shit.
What you think, John? What you think?
Yeah, Disney, man. My daughter went with my girl, my fiance. So they got to experience it. I had to stay here and be in the studio. So I was in the studio. They went to Disney. She went with her mom and her grandmom, my daughter's grandmom, her mom, my girl's mom. So they had a ball. You know, I got to see them on the cruise. I got to see them, you know.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah. I got to see them like have a ball or whatever. So I didn't get to experience any of it. I would like to experience it because what I
did
do
the cruise?
Huh?
Yeah, they did the cruise. Oh man.
Yeah, they went on the cruise too. So I know that from my experience, being a kid, you notice certain stuff. Like that's just what jumps out to you as a kid. But when you're an adult, you look back and it's like, oh, I didn't even notice that this and this and this was happening in this movie, or this was happening in this cartoon, or that this joke happened. Some of them things just don't apply to you as a kid. And it's the same thing. I went to Disney when I was a kid. I didn't remember bars being there. I don't remember any of the adult stuff because I wanted to be on rides, right?
Right.
But then as an adult, you look back and it's like, oh, wait a minute, hold on, they got all this going on too.
Yeah.
Like them rides is there to distract the kids so that the
Dad
adults could be
Dad
over
is
here.
real happy and it's 100 degrees outside.
Right. Yeah. It's like they running around doing. It's like I'm in this air conditioned bar. You know what I mean? It's like so. I definitely get it. I definitely want to go as an adult. I do stuff like watch TV shows that I used to watch as a kid, as an adult, and just notice a bunch of stuff. Like one of my favorite shows as a kid was Married with Children. Yes. But I didn't notice all the stuff that Al was saying to Peggy. You know what I mean? Stuff like I didn't notice. I was worried about like the son Bud and what they going through and the little kid stuff. So it was stuff for both kids. You know what I mean? Same thing.
We always speak about it. We were all kids sitting back watching Michael Jackson grab his crotch and talking about she's not my lover. She's the girl that claims that I'm the one.
Right, exactly.
Kid
is not my son.
You didn't even notice.
And you up there, you singing, you like, yeah.
You didn't even notice somebody was trying to pin a child on mic.
Word, yo.
You got older and you on Maury, be like, "No, for real, that's not my son." I don't know what y'all talking about right now. That's oh man, of course, man. We're with our special guest, man, the illustrious man, Don Michael Jr., rapper, songwriter, producer. This is All Black Everything, Volume 3, Hot Seat Podcast, presented by All Black Everything 24/7, 365. Man, before we let you get out of here, again, I absolutely thank you for accepting the invite to sit down with us and chop it up. I know your time is very, very, very valuable. But I will also say that I look forward to the next thing that you have in store. We tend to be sometimes we can be the old guys get off our lawn because we have our different music that we listen to. I am an avid Common fan. Common is 50-something years old, and I'm a stan every day. But every time he drops something, like I said, there's in my mind there is no age limit on rap itself. And what I've heard from you, brother, is something that just gives me complete joy. Because while to many, like that allhiphop.com article was like, how you became a rapper overnight. I'm like, nah, but say what y'all want. What I hear is somebody who is seasoned like Lowry's and Sassone out it. And I absolutely love it. And then Earl, that just makes me just not want to retire ever.
We knew you weren't retiring. So I don't even know you even talking to.
There's no point. There's no point in retiring. You ain't gonna stop wanting to do it.
Right. I just
do it.
I just do it just to piss people off at this point. No, but man, let the folks know where they can find you at. We know on Facebook. Hopefully, they don't block.
Yeah. See, say something about Facebook. Look what happened.
See that shit? Yeah, exactly.
The man got you.
Ain't that some shit?
Yeah, you can get me Don_Michael Jr. on most socials. If it's not Don_Michael Jr., it's just Don Michael Jr. I used to say this at my shows. If you don't know how to spell Michael, then you'll get it right. You know what I mean? That's where people get confused. It's typing in the Don Michael. It's like just try. Just give it a little bit of effort. You know what I mean? Normally if you type in Don MIC, I should pop up. You know what I mean? But if you have a hard time finding me, just Google me and go through those searches or whatever, and hopefully I'll pop up and be on whatever platform you try and reach me on, man. As far as the music goes, I'm on all the platforms except SoundCloud. I got some old stuff on SoundCloud, but for the most part, I'm on all the other streaming platforms, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, you name it. Amazon, Deezer, like things that I don't even really be thinking about sometimes or whatever.
Right.
I'm on those too. So whatever service you use, you can get my music on there. And I'm just around, man. Like I said, feel free to reach out to me. Again, I apologize to anybody that has reached out to me and I didn't know. It's not my fault. They don't show me everything anymore. There's nothing I can do about it. But I do go in my DMs and check and try to scroll through. One thing I will say, let me say this before I get out of here. Our age does not make us close to each other. People DM me like, yo, I'm 42 too. We definitely need to do a song together, bro. What's your phone number? Bro, I don't know you. I don't know what's going on. I'm not trying to do a song because we were born the same year. Are you working? Like, are you nice? Like, we can do a song for those reasons, but not just because we was born the same year. That doesn't make us like, nah, bro.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I'm not gonna use that in my approach.
Please don't. That logic doesn't make sense. Y'all are
what that's compared to?
I know I can notice that y'all wouldn't be like, yo, I saw that we were born the same year, bro. That means we need to do a song together. Like, no, it doesn't. You know that doesn't mean that. Stop it.
That's compared to Facebook when they be like, this person should be a friend of yours because they have mutual friends. And I'm like,
right.
Nah.
No, I don't like it at all.
I don't even like the person that they friends with. Like,
right. yeah. Stop suggesting stuff. Like, let me do what I do. Yeah. Make my own.
Love it, man.
All right, man. Of course, that's dope, man. So, of course, this podcast wouldn't be what it is, man, if we hadn't taken 15 plus years of us just having just these random conversations over Xbox Live and turning it into a podcast because the world fell apart. We had COVID. And next thing you know, we all around the world. We just had we still got listeners from Geneva. So I'm looking at the numbers. So I look at the other day in the podcast stats, and we got folks listening from Geneva. I'm always bewildered because I seen France, I seen Greece. I guess I need to bring. They always give me a hard time on my vocabulary, Don. Man, my vocabulary is kind of robust, and they give me a hard time.
No, that was a great word. That's a great word.
Right.
It's not a long word or a difficult word. It's just a word you don't hear often. You know
all the time.
like,
yeah. So I see all these countries, man, and sometimes I know they have, it's transcribed and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I actually have to go to like some of the support folks. I'm like, hey, are these bots? Are these real people listening to the pod? They're like, yeah, they're real people. I'm like, how do they understand it however they do? So like, shout out to Geneva. I guess I'm gonna have to learn something in Genevan if that's a thing. I know I did Greece one time. I learned that language overnight, so I'm gonna try to do something from there for next time. But Xbox Live, man, is where we started these conversations. We just bring them to a podcast platform, and we get great people. Like Don Michael Jr., man. So you can find me at Sanatu on Xbox Live. Come find me on Street Fighter 6, online. I'm putting these paws on everybody at this point. Everybody can get it. Everybody can get it. Me and the missus were playing. She sat next to me. She said, babe, can I play with you? I was like, yeah. She said, can you grab me a controller? I said, no, you grab your own controller. So she grabbed it and she was like, all right, cool. I said, just let you know, we gonna play. So she's played a few times. And after about 8 rounds, she won 1 round. After 8 total matches, I beat the brakes off her every single time. She's like, how can you remember all this stuff? I'm like, because I've been playing this since 1989 when it was a Street Fighter. And I think it was this Ryu and Ken and this joint. I used to play at Little Jimmy's back in Newport News. Shout out. So she get these paws. Y'all out in that internet space, y'all can get these paws. Come see me all day, every day. Sanatu on Xbox Live. That's what I said, damn it. Now stand by.
The pause is from 89.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
What you got, Dave?
Oh man, look, the storyteller. I'm not gonna take my time up by speaking about my pause from '89. I'm gonna speak about my man Don that was just on the show, man. Hey, keep on doing your thing.
Appreciate you.
You done old proud, man. You done old proud, man. I'm telling you, just sit back. Whenever you feel in that little zone of that negativity that you said sometimes you fall into, just think about how far you come, bro. I'm telling you, just think about how far you come and where you're going, and then just go for it. Shoot for that jump. But you got it, bro.
Sir.
You got it, bro. It's not because you're on the show. I'm telling you, I sat back and I listened. I was like, yep, following. Let me put this in. Let me link to anything new coming out.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you. It means a lot, man. Because and that goes a long way too. Like you said, like think about how far I've come and where I'm going. That means a lot, man, because it's easy to get wrapped up in what you're doing at this exact second and not stepping back and looking at the journey that you've made and the leap that I had last year. It's like it's all a blessing. So I'm happy, man. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
What you got, Earl?
NJ Fatboy 973. I again kind of want to just share my sentiments, same as Dave. Appreciate the work you're doing, man. Keep putting on. I know you're putting on for Camden. Keep putting on for Jersey.
Yes, sir.
We underrepresented. You know what I'm saying? This hip hop world, but don't get it twisted. Jersey got some artists.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So keep putting on.
East Coast rap still lives.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And creativity still lives too.
Absolutely.
A lot of people that I know the major complaint is that a lot of people sound the same. And what I'm telling you is that when I float through Jersey, is when I find the most different artists that, you know, there is no Jersey sound unless you're talking about Jersey Club.
Right.
There's no real Jersey sound.
Right.
The reason is because everybody. I'm sorry. The reason that everybody's so creative is because there's no sound.
Right.
Philly got a sound.
Yeah,
so
they do.
You know how you're supposed to approach when you start learning how to rap in Philly.
Right.
New York got a sound. You know what I mean? Atlanta got a sound. Jersey don't got a sound. So what people do in Jersey, for all those that don't know, is try to be the most creative as possible and try to make the sound to pop off, because nobody's done it yet.
Right.
So everybody's trying to be the first.
Right.
So there's a lot of creativity. And if people are looking for Jersey artists to listen to, you're probably going to get something different every artist that you click on. So it's worth it. Definitely look at the Jersey artists.
Absolutely.
Of course, man. And make sure you guys follow us on Instagram and Facebook at the Hot Seat Podcast. Subscribe on YouTube at the Hot Seat Podcast. And our newest thing, which I didn't put the title portion on for, we just launched a Hot Seat Podcast Plus. So you got Disney Plus, you got Hulu Plus, you got whatever the hell else plus. So we got the Hot Seat Podcast Plus. So you guys can subscribe.
You better get it now, because we're going to overcharge like Disney.
Hell the fuck yeah, we are. So you get the opportunity, man, to get monthly merch directly from us, man. You also get the opportunity to actually help produce the show. You can submit content for the show, as well as be a guest co-host and hang out with us on the Hot Seat Podcast, man. So that's all for this. A monthly subscription starting at $3. It's not anything you have to tie yourself into. If you want to, if you don't, I don't know, this is a show for free. You know, we just help us, you know, just keep doing the show. We're going to do it anyway, whether you do it or not. So, you know, a little perk you guys from that. But again, man, again, the Will Smell Joy is out now. Go listen to it from front to back, and then from back to front. And then go listen to it again, and then go back and listen to the whole back catalog. Go listen to all the skits, because that's what got me hooked from the jump. I listened to the skits, the old man. It's just as funny as shit. Just keep them going. They're hilarious, man. I appreciate you. For myself, Dave, Earl, our special guest, Don Michael Jr. It's the Hot Seat, man. Yo, we out.
Have a good one, y'all.